Hola from the west side. It's me on this Wednesday evening. DC the Purple Diva. I hope that you guys are ready. Because yes, the fires are still going in Southern California. That's what's going on here. I was hoping that I wouldn't be talking about fires again today, but that's what's going on. And that's part of my commentary. As you can hear, my son is in the background, chilling out with mama. But they are starting to get a handle on the fires in Northern California. So that's the good news. You know, where the vineyards are. Good thing. Good thing where the vineyards are. You know? But Simi Valley. Hey, Sarah. How are you? Hey, Toya. How are you? Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. I'm just talking about what we're going through out here in California. It was another fire overnight in Southern California. With the high speed winds, we had another fire. They are, however, getting stuff together in Northern California. You know, they're trying to save those vineyards so people won't be paying the high price of wine or have smoky tasting wine, which is just as gross. But yeah, we had some more fires out in the Simi Valley area, which is that's the area, that's like almost into Ventura County. It's at the end of LA County. And the thing that Simi Valley is famous for is that's where the Rodney King verdicts were. That are, you know, back in the day when those LA police officers were on trial, they held a trial out in Simi Valley. Yeah, that's where they were not guilty. So it's a predominantly Caucasian community. Not that really matters, but that's where these fires are. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Simi Valley is past Thousand Oaks. And they have some really nice houses out there. But so we've down here in Southern California, there's been a fire in Riverside, fire in Santa Clarita, fire in, you know, the Calabasas, Simi Valley area. Then you've got another fire that was out in Pacific Palisades, which is near Malibu. That's the Southern California part. But then you've got a lot of stuff going on up in Northern California. Hey, Michi. Hi, yeah, Michi, how's it going for you? Because from what they're saying, in Northern California, they're starting to get a handle on the fire. Not the same thing going on down here in Southern California, though. Not the same thing going on down in Southern California. You know, and even though it's clear outside, there's fires going on. So I know that there's smoke that we can't see in the air. No, they're saving the wine country right now. They've gotten it up. They've gotten a handle on it. But I believe some vineyards did burn, Sarah. I believe some did burn. you know. So I'm going to say the California wine is going to be probably expensive next year because some people's crops were ruined. And then some may not have been ruined, but they're ruined because of the smoke smell. Smoky grapes. Not on purpose. You know what I mean? But Michi, are you okay where you are? Because they're saying that people have begun to return home up in Northern California. That's good. I wish I could say the same thing about down here because another fire popped off. But I don't think that they're going to have they're not going to have the winds tonight that they had last night. So hopefully they'll be able to get a handle on the situation down here. But people's fire insurance, I'm telling you, fire insurance in California is just, it's going to be like earthquake insurance is here, sky high. You know, and I mean, that's the same thing that probably people are going through in the southern states that have had the effects of, you know, all of this flooding from the hurricanes. FEMA's having them a field day. No, the flames aren't close to me, Sarah, but I mean, the Getty Center fire that was over the was a couple of days ago, that's the closest one to me because that's literally like 20 minutes up the freeway from where I live. So that was the closest one. You know, but they keep getting closer. I happen to live in Inglewood, you know, the Wood, and it's considered, you know, close to the beach communities because the beach is maybe like 7 miles. And we're in the South Bay. So thankfully I'm not in an area that is prone to the fires, but my sister lives up by the mountains. So she lives in an area that's prone to the fires. But thankfully, none of these fires have hit where she lives. Because she's over by the Sepulveda Dam, and that's actually where the LA County fire people meet in order to, you know, as their emergency spot for dealing with the fires in the valley. I know, Michi. I know down here. I mean, we had the fires, and then the fire happened overnight. That was caused by DWP. So, out of all of the fires that happened down here, we have one that was actually caused by the fire by the electrical lines. Because when the tree branch hit it, it continued to pump electricity. And that's what caused the fire. And it was like outside of the area that they do the clearing, you know, to clear brush away from the actual power lines, you know. So, you know, I guess how far out do they have to go for it to be enough? They were vigilant, but they still had a power line fire. Yeah, I mean, Sarah, it's like we've been having fires for the last couple of weeks here. And let's not forget about the Amazon that's still on fire that nobody talks about. Let's not talk about that. You know, nobody's talking about that fire anymore. But last time I checked, the fires are still going in the Amazon. So Mitchie, you haven't had power since Saturday? That's crazy. That's crazy. Wow. You know what? You know what, Sarah? For me, I mean, I'm an East Coast girl, and eventually I'm not going to be on the West Coast. But the main reason that I'm still in California is really because as far as services for someone who has autism, which is what my son has, this is the best place to be. You know, and the amount of funding for things that he doesn't have to pay for. So that's the main reason that I'm still in California. But I'm not a fan of earthquakes either. And I was here when they had the big earthquake in Northridge, and I wanted to leave. And that was before my son was born. I wanted to leave then. That's the only big earthquake I experienced, you know. But I've never actually lived close to where the fires happen. So that part, I'm just experiencing it from far away because I have to deal with the smoke in the air. Wow. Well, I'm glad that you have power. But I mean, I'm sorry, Saturday and today is Wednesday, almost Thursday. That's 5 days. What about people who have medical conditions? What are they supposed to do? What are they supposed to do? That's insane. So now the fire that happened today, now this fire is called the Easy Fire because it happened on, ironically, a street called Easy Street in Simi Valley. And this is the one that was caused because of the high winds and, you know, embers from the previous fires that have been contained went floating over to there. Wow. Hey, Simply K Simone, how are you? Thank you for coming in. We're talking about these fires out here in California. And apparently in Northern California, they've been with a lot. There are people who have been without power since Saturday. I hope they start getting that power back on, because this is ridiculous. PG&E can't be doing people like that. Hey, Timer 66, how are you? Thank you for coming through. Folks, don't forget to smash the like button. Please don't forget to smash the like button. I appreciate you. Please don't forget to smash the like button. Oh, I forgot. I appreciate you. We cut that down. Sorry about that. I have it on my phone so I can see you guys faster, because there's a lag with StreamYard, and I can't see the comments that fast. All right, now I can see them faster. So how's everybody doing tonight that's not out here with us in California? Dealing with all of this smoking and lack of electricity. How's everybody doing? I hope you guys are doing good. Tori, how are you doing? How are things? How are things for you? And Miss Simply Simone girl, I'm trying to get to where you are. I'm grinding this week trying to get to that magical 1K. So that I have that step down, and then I can just concentrate on my commentary and my lives and making it interesting for everybody. Oh, that is so wonderful, Miss Toya. That is so good. He's gonna have fun. He's gonna have fun. And you're active parents, so you're gonna be there. Friday. So basically, you guys are gonna be without power for almost an entire week in that area. I mean, that's insane. Wow. So people who have generators, but everybody doesn't have a generator. Sure. What's the question, Miss Toya? Yes. He still does. He'll just and then he'll say, "That's not funny. That's not funny," and he'll just be laughing and laughing and laughing. And it's like he's laughing at something. You know, he was doing it today, as a matter of fact. I don't know what was funny, but he was doing it today. Yeah. But sometimes what it is that they may be laughing at something from earlier, and they're just now processing the humor. So it could have been something that he saw earlier, but sometimes, you know, I always thought, and this is just me, you know, being me, that my son could see angels, and that's why he was laughing. No, not necessarily, because they'll laugh for a little while and then they'll stop. Yeah. And I don't even know necessarily if it's really, you know, so much the autism it's just them just being a kid, you know, and remembering something funny. Wow. But I'm just thinking about the fact in Northern California, what's going on. That is just crazy. I am getting me something. I know you guys can hear me. But I'm doing double duty while I'm on the line right now. And if I don't do what I'm doing right now, my son is going to kick my behind. He's going to be mad. So I know you guys can hear me. But I'm actually putting together something for my kids. And I've done it now. So now I'm coming back. Now I am coming back. Because that's what he was waiting for. I was making some street dogs for my son. Yeah, I was making some street dogs and now they're done. I love street dogs. Just got to be careful where to buy them on the street. LOL. But yeah, no, don't worry about it, Toya. The only time you have to worry about the laughing is if they do the laughing in a very inappropriate setting, like if somebody's crying or something. or if somebody's angry. But, you know, with the laughing and everything, you know, you can ask him what's funny and he may tell you and he may not. Because sometimes it's just the way that they're looking at things and it's funny to them. But I really do hope that they get a handle on these fires and that PG&E gets their act together, because this is totally unacceptable that they're going to have people's power out until Friday. That's totally unacceptable. That's crazy.
What?
Okay. Thanks, Leopard. I will go check it out. Because apparently everybody knows how to do panels but me. I know how to get up on one, though. But yeah, my son used to do that sometimes too. Now he'll just laugh for like a few minutes and stuff, and he'll verbalize when he's doing it. You know, like saying it's not funny, or you know, stop laughing, and then he keeps laughing at whatever it is he's laughing at. I cannot believe that the power is not going to be back on until, and see, that's ridiculous, because down here in Southern California, where we don't even have fires contained, but Southern California Edison and DWP apparently have their act together better when it comes to dealing with when and where an outage has to be. And from what I understand, DWP is not doing any of the outages unless they absolutely have to. So I just think it's crazy. So that means people are able to go back to their house, but they don't have any electricity. So how are they supposed to live in their house with no electricity? That just doesn't even make sense to me. You know, because if they don't have electricity, that means they may not even have gas. So then they can't cook anything. And they'd have to put stuff in coolers and use candles or those, you know, generated flashlights. And you know, somebody was talking about the gas on another channel, about the potential of there being a shortage of gas. Wow. Wow. Hey, Topaz. How are you? Yeah, we're talking about these fires out here in California. And Northern California still doesn't have electricity. in parts. That guy throwing a cigarette out the window is just an idiot. That's just an idiot. Do they even know what caused the fires in Northern California? Because it was still under investigation, and I still don't see anything as to whether they know the cause. All is well with me, though, Topaz. Thank you for asking. Thankfully, I'm not as close to the fires. Okay. Okay, I just went to it and saved it to my watch later. So I'm gonna watch it as soon as I get off live. Thank you. I know PG&E don't care. They care about the fact that they're in bankruptcy because they caused the fires last year. So they're using that as an excuse for holding people's power hostage. See, everybody needs to go solar. That's why people need to go solar. You know, especially here in California. Especially here in California. You know, but I know a lot of people maybe don't think that they can afford to do it. Shoot, if I owned where I am right now, I would go solar. Oh, you had 200 in your watch. Yeah. I have to clear some stuff out of my watch later because I've already watched them. So I don't really need them. And then some I have them in my watch later because I want to watch them again whenever I want to watch them. Yeah. PG&E is just shady. They are shady, shady, shady. Because they know, you know, with this, I mean, and then who wants to be beholden, you know, to the state or to FEMA, you know, to have food and stuff while, you know, even if it's just for a few days, because you don't have any electricity or gas because the idiot electric company turns off the electricity. And it doesn't make any sense to me because if the area is deemed safe, what's taking you so long to put the electricity back on? Because you were sure fast about turning it off. I'm just saying. It just doesn't make any sense. Wow. I remember that earthquake. That was a really bad earthquake. And see, we don't have like a whole bunch of refineries in Southern California, but there is a refinery in Torrance that has had fires at it several times in the last 12 months, 24 months, I mean, you know, and it's changed ownership because I think it used to belong to, I want to say it used to belong to Exxon, but I don't know who owns it now. And nobody's really talking about what the health hazards are for the people who live around that refinery. Because it always has this funky smell when you get over in that area. And I'm not really comfortable because it's caught fire a couple of times. And so that's why the previous owner got rid of it, because they couldn't keep it up. So now the current owner supposedly is trying to keep it up, but it's still caught fire since they've taken over it. So, you know, I'm not sure what's going on. Yep. I think about the fact about purging the that it's something like that too, trying to decrease the population in California. Because think about it. Every time, you know, people are leaving the state, they're not really giving any incentive for people to come to California. And this kind of stuff makes you feel like, why do you own a place in a state where your electricity is being held hostage? Because we don't own our own electricity. Because we don't have solar. We need to go green. Hey, Anna, how are you? I'll tell you, the StreamYard is so slow in pushing people's chat over. How are you doing? Everyone in the chat, please feel free to meet and greet if there's someone that you don't know. Although I do not have a growth stream, I do expect that people want to get to know each other, and feel free to do that. Feel free to do that. I'm just, man, they really make it hard to stay in the state of California. This place was not like this when I came out here. I mean, they didn't have no drought. The hills weren't catching fire all summer long and all fall long. People could afford to live. We didn't have this awful homeless problem. They just seemed to build to worse and worse. Yeah. I guess they think there's too many of us here. So they're going to run some of us out of here. But that's just ridiculous. Because it's more of an elitist attitude. That's why they keep pushing the prices of everything up till it's out of the grasp of the majority of the people. Yep. It could be a systematic, coincidental purging. You know? And I put coincidental in quotation marks. Well, Mitchie, that's what I'm saying. My son is an adult with autism. California is probably the best place in the country for me to be as far as services. And also, I think this is probably, he probably gets the highest amount of SSI here. Plus, they have in-home support services here, and that's not available in all states. So, but they make it hard to, make it hard to stay. I came out here to do music. That was the reason why I came out here in the first place. But then I had my son, and he was diagnosed with autism. And I was married to his dad at the time. But I still do music, just not like I was going to. Are they? That is good. That's good, Toya. That's good to know. I know. Well, that's the same thing here in Southern California for the most part. The areas where the fires were the wealthier areas. Because the Getty Center fire was by where people like LeBron James live in like the Bel Air Estates. And then the fire that happened overnight, Simi Valley is a more affluent area. And so is Pacific Palisades because it's right out there by Malibu. Santa Clarita is probably the tick fire, the one that happened first, is probably the least expensive area out of all of the areas. The most affordable. But yeah, all of these fires happened in more affluent areas here too. That is interesting. Oh my goodness, Mitchie, I'm so sorry. They treat our vets horrible. They treat them horrible. Wow. Now I know they have good services in Florida, so I hear. But I think that has it depends on where you are in Florida. I think like in the Miami-Dade area and one other county I know of, but I think a lot of that has to do with Dan Marino being down there and having a child on the spectrum, and his son is older than my son, but he pushed a lot for services, so I know they have good services in Florida. Yeah, my dad works part-time for VA. He worked at the one in West LA here in the Los Angeles area when he was here in California. And now he goes 2 weekends a month to the VA in Washington, D.C., where I'm from, and works. I heard that Pennsylvania is good, but I have a friend who's in Pennsylvania, who's an autism mom, and she told me that there's like a waiting list though for getting in-home support services. So that would mean that they don't have enough funding to meet the needs of everybody right now. Wow, Mitchie. Wow. You see, my dad didn't serve. If he had, he would have gone to Vietnam. But he was in medical school, so he got an exemption. And I think that's the reason why he works at VA. You know, part-time. He did work for them full-time a few years ago at like Fort Bragg, you know, and because that's how he went back to the East Coast working for VA. But he's always worked for them part-time because he felt that that would be his way of giving back to the ones who actually served our country. Yeah, I know, Mitchie. I'm going through getting the in-home support services for my son, and I have to tell, and I'm trying to get the maximum because even though, you know, he's high functioning in some areas, he's still considered that he would need 24/7 care. So I'm asking for everything, and we'll see what happens. But they don't give it to you unless you ask for it. And then they got to come to your house and you got to prove to them everything that you have to do for that person. You know, but I got to get that money for him because that money has to be there for him, even if I'm not around. Wow. Yeah, Nevada didn't used to be. Oh, you're talking about New York. New York has stupid, crazy property taxes. I mean, I'll just say thank God for Proposition 13 in California. Because I see like the property taxes in New York and Connecticut. Whew. Insane. I don't even understand how those people can afford those property taxes. They're so crazy. Wow. That's crazy, Mitchie. That's crazy. Wow. They don't care about the vets. VA, you know, because I like my dad is a dermatologist, so he doesn't. That's, you know, he kind of is in a certain part of it when he's there on the weekends and everything, you know. But it's just horrible how they treat him. And then, like out here in California, well, I'll say, yeah, there's a lot of vets that are dealing with PTSD and just other health issues from going over to the Middle East. You know, it's just so it's sad, and they tried to pretend at first like they didn't have nothing to do with it. You know, but biological warfare is real. Yeah, a lot of the homeless here in the LA area, there are a lot of vets that are homeless here in the LA area. A lot. More than the facilities that help vets can help. So, wow. They told you to go to the county. Mm-mm-mm. So VA was supposed to pay it, and they were trying to force the state to pay it. Wow. Well, you know what it's supposed to go from the original date that you filed, and they end up having to give you the back pay. So you cannot freaking trust nobody. You know? Because if you think about it, depending on the type of health insurance that you have, that determines whether you live or die if something happens to you. And you would think that they would have the best of the best for our vets. You would think that that's what they want for our vets. Hey, Anna. Thank you for coming through. I appreciate the support. I'll see you again. I usually come around the same time every night during the week. I know. Have a good night, Anna. I know, Mitchie. I know it's the same thing. It's the same way in Southern California. You know, even though they supposedly got somebody to head VA in DC that's supposed to fix stuff, but I don't see anything being fixed. I don't see anything being fixed. You know? And the people who made a career out of being a vet, which means they were actually in the military for the right amount of time, you would think that those people would be treated with respect. Now, when they need health assistance, but it's just not. You put them. You knew when they signed up that you were putting them in harm's way, and although they knew this was a risk of going to war for our country or to protect our country or whatever it is that they claim that we sent all our people over there for, the least decency that you could have is to make sure that their needs are met when they come back. Yeah, so they'll give you the back pay. And if it's a couple of years, then it's a couple of years. But it's just frustrating that it takes so long to get the in-home support services for some, and then other people can get it, and it's just no problem for them at all. They don't have to fight at all. But everything my son gets, I have to fight for. Everything. Because now I'm, I'm finding out, that he still needs to have ABA, which is, adaptive behavior therapy to help him with certain things, like with, things that are going on in his life. And I found the resource, so now I got to find out if I can get funding for it or if it's covered by his, public health care. So this is going to be a fun process, finding out what's funded and what's not funded for him as an adult, because they fund everything. You can get anything funded just about when they're a kid now, but autism does not end at 18. So I know, but that's just wrong. You can't forget that somebody served the country. Just disrespectful. It's just disrespectful. They went over there and did what you people who are sitting in the offices did not do. And that's the one thing that I actually have respect for the late John McCain is that he was always fighting about how they treated vets. Yep. Waiting list. And the thing is that when you get him into the ABA, Toya, you want intense ABA. And when I'm talking about intense, I mean like going to a job, intense. It's got to be like literally 30 to 40 hours a week. But he's in school, so they'll probably, but you want to see if you can get at least 10 to 20. And some of it, what I would do is see if they have something like the card center there in your area. Because if their thing, they actually have a school through their thing. So they would be getting the adaptive, the ABA, and still be getting their academics. I don't know. I'm gonna look on Autism Live on their website, because for my son to do the ABA that we're getting ready to try to get him into, I have to do this assessment for him. And I mean, it's like 1 million questions that I've got to answer. 1 million questions. So, and then after I answer all those questions, then we can figure out what's the best course for him as an adult, to help him. So I'm probably going to document some of that on my YouTube channel. I'm probably going to do that because I think that will be, of benefit to other people, especially because the myth is that ABA only works when they're young. It's not true. It works at any point. It's never too late to get the ABA therapy. And ABA is not just for people who have autism. A lot of people need adaptive behavior therapy, depending if they've gone through, certain types of trauma or something. So it helps a lot of different people. Oh, thank you, Toya. You're so sweet. If they need that, that's what I'm saying. adaptive behavior therapy is not just something that can benefit someone who's a child. Because my son is definitely going to have to go through it. He's going to have to go through it again. He's been through, he had it, you know, when he was in school and everything, but that's not a service that he's had in the programs that he's in. So we've got to get the supplement in there for him, and then get whatever program that he's going to be in to also coordinate the things into the daily living that they do with him when he's at work. So it's going to be interesting because, you know, he wants to do better. He just needs to be given the tools to help him to do better. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Mitchie. Well, I hope they get the everything fixed up there in Northern California soon. But I do think that they're trying to make it difficult for people to stay in the state of California. They're trying to make it uncomfortable. You know, which is just sad. It's just sad. You know, but as far as like the services for my son, that's always a struggle, you know, because even though services are available, it's like a lot of times if you don't know to ask for it, you don't get it. So that's why I tell people about all kinds of stuff. See if they do this, see if they do that. Because a lot of times you end up finding that it may be something that they offered that they didn't tell you about because you didn't ask about it, and or B, you know, it's something that's going to cost them more money to fund for your kid. Who cares? So of course they're not going to tell you about those services. But everything, our kids have a right to getting to help them with their education. I'm gonna tell and help people to find a way to get them. You know, that's why if I don't know how to do it, I can at least point people in the right direction. So but it's going to be interesting because when I get my son, I told y'all I'm getting my son, he's going to get another ID. So the last time that he got his ID, he also registered to vote. And so he had re-registered to vote. And do you guys know that DMV had unregistered my son? So now we got to get him registered, but they never unregistered me. My voter registration follows me all around, and it makes no sense to me. But somehow, the county is chasing my kid down to do jury duty. So I got to get a letter from the regional center to tell these people that he can never do jury duty, all because he's exercising his right to vote. You know, just insane. Just insane. Yep. And here's the thing. The last time they sent him a notice in regards to it, I sent them the paperwork so that they would no longer send him anything. And they still sent some craziness to the P.O. box. So I got the letter from the regional center from his caseworker, And this time I mailed it to him certified mail. So we're gonna see how that works. Because he can't come down there and tell you he can't serve. I have to come down there with him to tell you he can't serve. So we're just trying to send you the medical stuff so you'll stop sending him the stupid jury notices. You know, I mean, I used to serve on jury duty. I've done it. I no longer do it because I'm caregiving for him, but I've done the jury duty thing. It's not, you know, I don't mind being, you know, civic and doing that. But my son is not able to do it. And I sent you the paperwork, so why do you keep sending me notices like you didn't get the paperwork the last time I sent it to you? Oh, that is so good, Toya. Yeah, my son votes in every election. But I think I'm going to get him the, they were telling us the last time that maybe he might want to do the permanent by mail, you know, and we might do that for him because I think it's easier for him to vote by mail. And then he can just sit there because he doesn't like me to help him to put, you know, to vote. He wants to do it himself. So I think we may just end up doing it that way. And then I don't have to hover while he's doing it, you know, to make sure he doesn't punch more than, you know, the person he wants and follows the instructions correctly. Yeah, I've actually served on a case, and it was a mistrial. The other times I just had to do the call-in or went in for the one day and had served my jury duty. So, but I don't want to serve anymore anyway, you know, but I've, you know, I met some interesting people in jury duty. I actually met one of my dad's cousins at a jury duty, you know, a cousin that we didn't even know. But the man looked just like my dad. And when they said his name and his last name, and I asked him where his people were from, and I'm like, really? But he doesn't know, he just didn't know that part of the family. But I showed him a picture of my dad, and him and my dad looked just alike, except he was a lighter. He was just fairer than my dad. That was the only difference. But they both had that same wavy, curly hair, you know, that we got from the mystery Cubans in my two generations back in my family. The Cuban part, there's a couple of generations back. So even though they were still black, that's what I always tell people. I'm like, I say, yeah, but the Latino part of me is still black. It's all black. You know, anything else in me? Yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting to find out how much of what we know about my dad's family is true. But my siblings are paranoid about doing, you know, those ancestry things to find out they're like, they don't want the government to have our blood or anything. I'm thinking if you've been to a hospital, they already got your stuff. So I don't even know what you're tripping about. They got whatever they want. Unless you are completely off the grid. You know, if you've ever gone to a hospital, you know, had major surgery or something, they got your blood. If you've given blood to the Red Cross, they got your blood. Yeah. So I'm just gonna figure out what's going on with that secret part of my family. Just so You know, we know because my dad is the last. You know, I mean, I've got a few cousins and stuff with my dad and on his side, but we want to do the research while he's still here. You know, because he's the last generation that speaks fluent Spanish. The rest of us speak Spanglish because they allowed us to speak Spanglish. So we speak Spanglish, you know. But I speak Spanish when I need to. I speak when I need to. I know. And that one's supposed to give you, like, you'll find out exactly, like, which tribes your family came from. You know? And they give you more distinctive what part. But I know, like, in my dad's family, I know even though we've got, like, the Cuban part, I also know that there's a bunch of white in my dad's family. So, yeah. I don't know. No, I don't know. You know, but also that part I know came via Cuba because we have Irish, and though people don't know, you know, though the Irish were not involved in slavery in the United States, they were on the little island of Cuba. They were on that little island of Cuba. So, you know, you got a lot of people who have Spanish and Irish names in Cuba. Last names like O'Reilly. It's crazy. Juan O'Reilly. You know? But yeah, I definitely want to just find out more about, you know, my ancestry, because the one, like, things that I know is like neither side of my family carries the sickle cell trait. It didn't run in either part of my family. So that means that rules out certain parts of Africa that my family came from. You know, and whereas I have cousins who do have the trait, but it's coming from, you know, the parent that's not, you know, related to my part of the family. So, I mean, there's certain things that I do know, but, you know, I know we supposedly have a lot of Indian in us because we have people in our family that actually were born on reservations, but, you know, it won't get me to college for free because I don't have enough of it in me. So, you know, there's not enough. I don't have enough. I think I'm like one generation too late. I think like both of my parents could have probably gone to college for free because of how much Indian was in them, but they didn't need to use that card because they both had academic scholarships to college. I have been to one. I've been to one. Yep. They have some, like, because they have some out here in California. You know, there's a lot of tribal land here in California. It's a lot of tribal land because the tribal land here in California is where they have all the casinos. There's like, I think there's like 3 of them. 3 different tribal land in Southern California that have casinos. There's San Manuel, Pachanga, and Morongo. All 3 of those are owned by Indian, Native American tribes. Yeah, in mine, I heard that we have, well, I know that we have Cherokee. I don't know how much, but I know we do have it. And Blackfoot is the other one. But that one's questionable. The Cherokee, I know. But it would be interesting to find out, you know, because supposedly I know somewhere on my mom's side, somehow there's some Jamaican on that side. We still haven't figured out where that part came from. But somehow on her side, there's some Jamaican. And then, yeah, interesting. But we're so mixed up in the, if we were born in this country, as far as what's in us, you know, this in this country, there's such a mix of so many different. However, the largest growing ethnicity is Latino, and that's, you know, black and brown Latino. So it'll be interesting to see when that's the majority in this country. Supposedly that's supposed to be the case by, I don't know, like 2030, 2040. So like in the next 10 years. Yeah, a couple of my cousins have done the ancestry stuff on my mom's side. That's how I know that the Cherokee was verified. So I'm like, okay, it's nice to know. And it explains, you know, certain, you know, things that all of us, you know, certain like bone structures that we have. So. Are you serious? 2020? Wow. Wow. Yeah. It's going to be interesting, but, you know, as the demographics of our country becomes different, because really certain ethnic groups don't have as many kids. I mean, we don't have a lot of kids anymore, but go back a generation or two and we had a bunch of kids, you know, like my mom is one of 11, you know, but then she only had 3. And, you know, most of her siblings had like 2 or 3 max, coming from such a large family. None of them had a huge amount of kids. And then my best friend, who comes from a family of 5, had 6. So, yeah, I was saying, my mom is one of 11. There was 11 of them, you know, and then I know people whose parents were one of 10 to 13 kids, like it was nothing, you know. And we had less money back then, but somehow people figured out how to raise all them kids and how to have enough money for all them kids, you know. And then, but then again, both of the parents were in the house when they had all them kids, you know. All those kids had one daddy. It wasn't like, you know, she had 5 baby daddies and had 10 kids. She had one husband and had 10 kids. You know, but you know, across, I would say across most ethnicities, nobody's having that many kids anymore. Nobody's having those kind of kids, that amount of kids in this country. And I think that's one of the reasons why these people are trying to force women to not have abortions. Because I guess they think that women are using abortions to not have kids. No, I think women are probably on birth control to not have kids. And it's not as many abortions happening as they think. But I still don't think it's right to take away a person's right over their own body, because that's between them and the one above. That's not for me to make that decision, especially when the alternative is people losing their lives trying to have one illegally. Yep, I know. It's so different now, you know, and people don't even realize that a family is important, that the family unit is important, period. You know, and if we had the family units, then we wouldn't have all of this where people are looking for handouts, because that wouldn't be an option, you know. But they were encouraged to not be a family, which is just sad. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. But I, you know, my thing. I mean, I am not going to make that decision for someone else, and I don't think that it should be up to the states to make those decisions. You know, I mean, there was a reason why that law originally went to the Supreme Court in 1973. And, you know, this administration wants it to go away. They want Roe v. Wade to go away. They want it to be overturned and it to go back to how it was prior to that. But some states want to go even more extreme. They don't even want a woman to do it if her life is in danger, which, you know, is crazy to me. So you would rather her die to have a baby than give her the option of not dying. And some women might choose to go ahead and have the baby at that risk, but it still should be her decision, you know? And I don't even want to go into whether it's murder or not, because, you know, I mean, that's a whole nother controversial thing. You know, I have my own beliefs about abortion, but my beliefs about abortion are not what I want to put on somebody else, because that's for me, you know. And at this particular point, I'm no longer in that game. So Why would I be speaking on what another woman can do with her body when I don't even know the circumstances? So, you know, this is all part of the agenda. All part of the agenda. You know, people don't even realize that certain freedoms and certain choices are being systematically taken away and erased. You know, and that because of what happened in our country, we signed off on certain rights, and the way that they keep getting people to agree to all of these things is by making a fear. So right now they're making all of these people, these men afraid, who aren't actually trying to have a baby right now, but trying to make it say, well, when you want to have a baby, you don't want her to go have an abortion and take that right away from you. Yeah. So, just insane. It's a lot of insanity going on, though. It's a lot of insanity that is counterproductive going on within the country, you know, and within the various communities, you know. I know that's crazy, Miss Toya. Yeah, well, me and my son's dad, you know, we have differences, and it's difficult because we're dealing with an adult, and it's not the same anymore, you know. And he feels a certain way about things, and I feel a certain way about things, you know. And we don't, and right now we're not on the same page, you know, because I feel that we have to go one route to deal with, you know, helping my son with dealing with meltdowns and stuff, and he doesn't see it the same way, you know, and it's just messy, you know. But I have to deal with him because that is my son's dad. So no matter how unpleasant it is for me, I have to deal with him. However, I don't have to deal with being disrespected. Don't have to deal with that. Yeah, well, I was married to this man. For 11 years, we were married. And my child is his only child. He don't have no other kids. That's the only kid he got. And it's probably the only kid he's going to have, because he's older than me. So, and, you know, he would be looking kind of crazy having a kid at this point too, even though he probably still have one. So, however, because of what's going on with our kid, you know, even though our kid is an adult, I don't think he's going to do that, for the same reason that I didn't have no other kids, you know, because I know that our son is going to need us for a long time. So, but it was their loss, Toya. Is he still there? Is he still incarcerated or no? Oh yeah, that's how I feel sometimes about my son's dad too. That's how I feel sometimes. How I felt in the past, you know. But now I think he's starting to see all the things that I was really dealing with that he wasn't dealing with, and he feels like I was keeping stuff from him. No, I wasn't keeping anything from him. But when I would try to talk to him about things that were going on, he didn't believe that his son was doing that. That someone must be making him doing something to him to make him do that. Just insane. So, man, they're talking about the wildfires still on the news here. It's awful. It's awful, awful, awful. It has burned some more. I mean, the hills are just. One of my friends is like out in the valley, and they told me that they could see the fires from where they are. You know, they can see the fires. And then now there's another fire that's down in Orange County. Another fire now in Orange County. Broke out while I've been on live with you guys. This is just insane. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now this one's called the Castlewood fire, the one that just broke out earlier tonight. So we had a fire breakout over last night in Southern California because of the high winds, and now tonight we have another fire that broke out in Orange County. I can't even keep track, guys. I can't even keep track. Hey, Ledford. So he's just not around by choice then. Yeah. Well, he's gonna wish he hadn't done that when your son gets older and understands, really understands what's going on. Yeah, this latest fire is in Fullerton. So Fullerton, from where I am, Fullerton is about, and this is also off the 405 freeway, but this is south of me. Fullerton is about 45-minute drive down the freeway. How I drive. Oh. Yeah, no, we don't play that game. Nope. You cheat on me, you don't want to find out. I'm not a very nice person at that point. And you'll find out that I can do whatever you can do better than you can do. And yeah. So I don't deal with those kind of people because I don't ever want that side of me to come out. She's not nice. She's not nice. You know. Yep. It's like if you're gonna cheat, you better make sure I don't find out about it. Better make sure I don't find out about it. And you better not bring nothing back to me. Because either way, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a situation. It's going to be a situation. Yeah, neither one. Oh, yeah, no, you put your hands on me, I'm out of here. You know, and don't sleep. You don't even want to be in the same house with me if you're doing that. Put your hands on me, you might want to leave. You might not want to be in the same place as me. Yeah, that part. You might not want to be in the same place is me. 'Cause I wouldn't just let you put your hands on me. I would have to defend myself. They call it self-defense. Yes. You know, but yeah. You know, I mean, some women can deal with unfaithful men, but it really just, or I'll say some men or women, some people can deal with infidelity. I'll just say that some people can deal with it, you know, and some people can't deal with infidelity, you know. I'm like, I'm too old to deal with more than one person at a time. Why would why would somebody want to spread themselves around like that? That's just kind of insane to me. But that's good. That's good, Miss Toya. But yeah. Yeah. And I've had a few guys who cheated on me. Most of them got caught. Most of them got caught. Most of them got caught. Yeah. You know, but that's in the past. So now Edison has been doing burn lines with the fire department, I guess, to make the fire go in a different direction, away from power lines. That's the one that's out, that happened this morning, that I told you guys. They called the easy fire. I'm just shaking my head though. You know, because I don't understand why we think we can control Mother Nature. You know, I understand that they're trying to do control fires, but sometimes the control fires can backfire on you. No pun intended. Yep. We got 4 people in the chat, but it looks like it's only a couple of us talking. Don't forget to smash that like button if you're out there, though, and you're not talking. It's okay. You don't have to talk if you don't want to, though. No, they're still not near me, because I don't live in areas where there's a lot of you know, trees and hills with all this, because all of these fires are happening like on hillside with a lot of plant life and everything that's grown back, you know, because of all the rain and stuff that we've been having. So, you know, as soon as Mother Nature restores stuff, the fires come through and destroy it again. I mean, because I'm looking at all of this blackened, charred earth. And I remember last year when you drove past after the fires, you could see all you saw was just this black hills. It's going to be like that again, black hills. And now what's going to happen is that later on in the winter, when the rain comes, all these places where these fires were, now we're going to have all this mud come sliding down because all the plant life has been burnt away. So there's nothing to hold the dirt up. So now they're going to have mudslides in the wintertime. Going to have mudslides. Mudslides. Oh, and I was wrong. They're still having, they still have some winds, but they are letting people go back home by the fire in Simi Valley. I don't know if I would want to go back home though, because you might have to leave right away, or you might have to leave tomorrow. But, I guess people just want to go home and sleep in their own bed. And I mean, they're showing people that are taking generators with them. There are, but the part of California where I'm at, no. All right, let's see. My computer's over here trying to fall asleep on me. No, there's like farmland like east of here, like in San Bernardino County and like the eastern part of LA County. They've got like where cows are, but most of the other places are up north, like in Central California. Central California. In Central California, they have them. And then in Northern California, because I mean, where you've got the grape, those are farms. It's just vineyards. But they've got places up there in that area too. But I'm in the city, so no, not where I am.
We're gonna get this.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing, but the thing is, Toya, the funny thing about farmers is that our country originally was an agricultural country. And so there was a lot of aid out there for farmers. Now they still have loans that that go specifically to farms, because they still have farmers administration loans that they can get on houses and stuff. That are working farms. But it's not like it was before. And I still believe that in certain places they're paying farmers to not put crops, to leave their land barren, so that we can have an artificial appearance of there being not enough food. Just my belief. Just my belief. So I don't know. But I just know that, like, I'm gonna keep saying this. People need to have small gardens of their own, even if it's just a small indoor garden of some herbs, maybe, or some fruits and some vegetables. There are some things that you can grow in like in those tubs and stuff, and literally have you a small garden, even like for people who are apartment dwellers, on their balconies, if they have a balcony. So there's creative ways for people to have some things of their own, because there may come a time when you're going to need to have that because of things that are going on around us, where you can't get to the stores, or the food at the store might not be safe with all the stuff they're doing to stuff. But that's the way that I think, because even though a lot of people, have little small gardens and everything, I mean, that just seems to be something old fashioned to a lot of people, but it's really the way that people should be thinking. And that was one thing that I really appreciated about our former First Lady, was really pushing that idea of people having, small sustainable gardens and growing some of their own stuff healthy. But yeah, onions grow really good, and tomatoes. I always do like a summer greens, because there's certain greens that you can do that'll grow really, really fast in the summer months. Cucumbers are a good one. Peppers. Those are ones that are good. And then I do like I have one of those little things where I can do some herbs in one of those small hydropod things that you can get off the internet for like 40 or 50 bucks. Or you can grow like little herbs, like, like parsleys and dillweed and basil and thyme and everything on that. But I know people think that they don't have to have a green thumb, but you have to think about it. We all did that science project as kids where we made a plant out of a potato, because the potato is the root, and all you do is put the potato in a jar with water in it, and it starts growing into a plant with no soil. Potatoes are something easy to make, are easy to grow too. And you don't have to have too deep a soil to do potatoes, because they're the roots, just like onions are the roots. Strawberries are another thing. That's a fruit that you can grow pretty easy. And you can grow melons too. But yeah, there's a few that you can grow just with like little barrels and little, those little tubs, Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You grow the stuff to eat. You're going to grow it to eat. You want to grow some of your own fresh fruits and vegetables. I mean, that helps. And I mean, if more people did that, do you know how much less we would have people who are diabetic, type 2 diabetes? How many less people would be getting sick? Because a lot of things that make our body sick is because of how we eat. But you got to think about, everything was coming from the earth before we got so industrialized, and people lived longer. And shoot, if you look around YouTube, you'll find all kinds of like really good, healthy things that you can eat, with just a few ingredients, because I look around and find like all kinds of things. I like looking around and find like lots of dishes that are from different countries in Africa, especially like some of the Nigerian. They have some good dishes, I'm telling you. But yeah, because I just think about the fact that our ancestors didn't eat the same way that we do. And if we ate closer to that way, it would probably be healthier for so many of us. Hey Rizwan, how are you? How are you? I'm interested. Yeah, we're just in here talking about, being healthier by just growing some parts of our stuff. I'm always going to push that though. I mean, because it's just so easy to do it. And I know like there's a few YouTubers out there. Well, actually, there's a lot of YouTubers out there that have gardens, but you've got some of them that have urban gardens, and it's so easy, because a lot of people, that's their excuse. Well, I live in an apartment, or I don't own where I live. Okay, but there's even way back when, a lot of people were first coming into the cities, they were still growing things in windowsills for personal consumption for their family, because a lot of the things were not readily available at the stores in the city at that time. I mean, that's when people were still making a lot of their clothes and stuff, even though they had moved into the cities. I know it's not as fashionable to do that now, but it's certainly healthier to grow just a couple of vegetables and a couple of fruits. I'm just saying. All is fine, Rizwan. All is fine. What is this? I don't know what that is. Oh, yeah. It looks like the stupid... StreamYard acts weird sometimes. It's giving me some message, but I don't know why I have the message, because I'm looking and I see that you guys can see me in the chat and you can hear me in the chat. So I don't know what that message is for. So I'm going to ignore it. I was like, I'm going to ignore it, because we're like about 15 minutes from the end. So hopefully it will not act up. Yeah. Yes. I mean, and here's the thing: a lot of these things, they have the seeds for them. Some of them, you can get the seeds at your local Home Depot or your local Lowe's. But a lot of times you have small nurseries, depending on where you live, where you can get seedling plants to start you out, so you don't have to start from scratch. But yeah, like a lot of the herbs, you can get the seeds for those at literally at Walmart, at Lowe's, at Home Depot. And depending on where you live, you can find them sometimes at the 99-cent only store. Just saying. And that's another place. Speaking of the 99-cent only store, sometimes they have some really good fresh fruit and vegetables there at a lower price. You just, sometimes they don't necessarily get the overstock on that kind of stuff. Sometimes they just have their own vendor that sells the stuff to them. And I mean, just like you're gonna wash the fruits and vegetables from the store, you can get some of them from there at a less expensive price, and they're still fresh, like with seedless grapes. And usually when the ones that have the fruits and vegetables, they're getting them from local farms in that area. At least that's the way it works here in California. So. But yeah, I used to have when I had my little garden at my house that I had. I used to like videotape certain things and I would post it on my IG and everything. And so I might do a little bit of that on my YouTube, because I think I'm going to get my son to help me with some of the stuff, because living in California, there's like things that you can plant at all the time out here because of how the climate is. I know you guys hear him in the background. He was being quiet, but you know, we're almost at the end, so he can talk. Like he can talk, you know, because he's hanging out with me too. He's hanging out here with me too. The other night he actually came into the chat. He didn't say anything, but he opened up the chat on his phone. So he gave me a view. Yes, I'm talking about you, son. I'm talking about you, son. See, now he's put on blast. He's quiet again. You gonna be quiet again? Talking in your grown man voice. That's right, grown man voice. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. There's certain things that you can grow on, and I can't remember the brand name. I want to say Acero, Acero, is the one that has the brand that I've seen, that I got, and I've seen it on Amazon on the Prime thing for like $40-$50 for growing herbs and stuff inside. That stuff you can do inside if you're in a climate where it's colder now, and you can still have a little herb garden with just some fresh herbs that you can use in your cooking.
Not
Yeah, that's right. He has a grown man voice. He's a baritone, so he definitely has a grown man voice. He definitely has a grown man's voice. But this is just crazy with these fires. I'm just tripping off the fact that while I've been on live with you guys tonight, another fire broke out in a whole different area. Man. And there's not a lot of humidity, which is what it is. It's dry. That's one of the things about Southern California. It's very arid here, because really we're really a desert here. You know, that's why it'll be hot in the daytime, and then as soon as the sun goes down, it's cold. You know, because the ground doesn't keep a lot of that heat to reflect back at you. Wow. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You can maybe make it a gardening project, and if you allow him to help with certain aspects of it, then he won't bother it. You know? Like maybe he can help you with with the watering. You know what I mean? So that when it's time to water, that you get him to assist you with that. Or maybe he can help you with the planting of the seeds. Just, that way you're involving him in the process, and then it helps him to understand what you're doing, why you're doing it, because I think your son is very, very smart. And I think if you do that, that'll help. And if he's involved in the process, then hopefully the baby won't get, he'll keep the baby from messing with the stuff. You know what I mean? Winter here is not winter. That's the best way for me to explain it. It's not winter to me because I live someplace where you literally could potentially go to the beach on Christmas Day. And I didn't grow up in that kind of climate. I grew up in a climate where it snows in the wintertime. And it snows even much more than it ever did when I was growing up in DC. I mean, those kids have more snow days than I ever had. I live someplace where they don't even know what a snow day is. So, but, as an adult, I chose to not live in a cold climate, But it does get cold here sometimes. But generally, if it's cold, it's nighttime. Then the daytime, it doesn't really get that cold. But it's been known to get down into the 30s here at night. But not much colder than that. But it's gotten cold enough that I had to put on my East Coast winter coat. Yep. Yep, that's what I was telling you. That's why I'm saying that you can make the science projects and stuff fun if you for any kind of education stuff that you're doing at home, because you can do a lot. You can do outside science projects in the summertime, because that's what my best friend did. Because I told you she homeschooled all 6 of her kids to high school. They went to regular high school, but they were homeschooled until they got to high school. And she would do the summer would be when they would do all of their science projects, because they did a lot of stuff outside. And that will be really interesting to your son, I think, because a lot of kids on the spectrum are very visual. And they're able, to understand things by seeing them unfold in front of them. Yeah. Wow. They were talking again today about John Witherspoon passing. He did a lot of other stuff that I didn't even know about. But he was definitely an icon as far as the older comedians. But I know that Eddie Murphy did speak on him, because Eddie Murphy really kind of blew him up with younger generations with Boomerang. And then he went on and did some stuff with Ice Cube with the Friday movies after that. So he's had a couple of younger generations that, have seen him in his acting stuff. Rest in peace, John Witherspoon. Another one gone. So that's two in 2 days. But I haven't heard who the third person is, because you know it's always in threes. It's always in threes. Yep, he was the Pops on the Wayans brothers too. Yep, he sure was. Yep. That was a really good gig for him too, because that went on for a couple of years. Those Wayans have magic. Those Wayans do magic with all the stuff that they do. Yep, that's what I say too. That's the way it always happens that way, though, Toya. It always happens that way. You know, all the time. It's so. There's a third person. You know. I mean, the first person, I didn't really know that much about him. You know, but I mean, I knew of his work. You know. But I mean, John Witherspoon, yeah, I knew him. So, you know, the third person may not even be in entertainment. It may be somebody in something other than entertainment. But yep, that's what they always say. Though, if they come in, death comes in threes. Yeah. Yeah. His sister-in-law she still has it too. His sister-in-law has a daycare center, and she used to watch my son and my sister's son. So I would see him sometimes at her house, because I used to live in the San Fernando Valley, and that's where he lives, and that's where his brother and his brother's wife are, and he would come by the house a lot of the time. So that's why that's why I know it kind of hit me harder, because I've met the man, and the man was very, very nice, and he's funny as heck. I mean, in person too. What you saw in the movies, that was who he was. That's who he was. He was always on. I never saw that man off. He was always on. You know, his comedic personality was who he was in real life too. So, you know, rest in peace to Mr. John Witherspoon. And shoot, he was younger than my daddy too. My daddy got him by a couple of years. So that means that he was born in the 40s. He was born in the 40s because he was 77. So that means he was born in the early 40s. Early 1940s. But let's see who is still here. Toya's still here. Leffer, are you still here? Wazan, are you still here? Michi, are you still here? I'm about to end the live, but I want to know who's still here. You so funny. Ledford. Okay. Yeah, I think it's time to end this live. All right, guys. Oh, yeah? Wow. Okay, yeah. Yep. Wow. Yep. So he was born in 42. Yeah, because my dad's 3 years older than him. And my dad was born in 39. Yep. Matter of fact, my dad is 80, but he's gonna be 81 in a couple of months. All right, guys. So I'm gonna end it. I'm not sure who's still here, but bye to Leffer, bye Latoya, bye Michi, bye Rizwan, and I don't know who that fifth person is that's hanging out in the clouds. But bye to you two. And I will see you guys tomorrow around the same time. I'm trying to keep it around the same time so people know I'm coming around. So I'll be back again tomorrow night. And I'm hoping that we will be talking about something other than the daggone fires. Because, you know, that's kind of... Anyway, we don't want to talk about fires every day. Anyway, guys, I will talk to you tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out with me. And as always, peace, guys.